If we get into firearms, it was already well established in Conviction that Sam uses a center axis relock method. So basically what's involved here is the weapon, unlike the standard sort of popular orthodox Weaver grip, which is at full extension, it's a slightly more buoyant and floating method where the thumbs, instead of being parallel, are either inverted like this or sometimes pursed together. And it allows both frames of the arms to be straight at the wrist and to pull back, not unlike somebody throwing a sort of martial style punch from the hip. So at its closest, it could be pommeled onto the body like this, the slide of the weapon having a sufficient distance from cloth so that it wouldn't get snagged in, room for the slide to recoil in the back. Second hand would be here, and this would be the absolute closest. And when I move here, there's very little risk of me crossing over my line of fire, which sometimes happen when people go for distance with a hand and shooting under conditions of extreme stress. So it allows for that spiraling retraction and that simple use. And we see this carried through even in the carbines and the long weapons, where Sam uses a variety of grips that are quite close, and even at close range, keeping it on the angle and shooting here like this, carriaging the weapon like this for walking or for longer distances, and then popping into a functional sort of use of the weapon versus maybe a longer or more open grip, which is still quite versatile and useful as well. We also see, I think, an evolution of the center axis relock to a much more organic manipulation of the weapon. So there's much more flow. We worked on much more flow in Eric's shoulders, movement through the sternum, movement from the hips. And one of the distinguishing features, I think, of a lot of what Sam does and some of the other characters in the game is an ambidextrousness, a freedom with the weapon where we keep it floating and it moves around his center axis of his body as well. We see it even in the simplest crouching walk, where instead of plodding methodically, there's that even share of dragging and pushing with a very center, sort of balanced level head, vestibular fluid in the ears and horizon line reference being kept very stable emotionally, and breathing very stable, changing heights and even altering his hips. So as he moves, the hips are quite fluid in the body, almost like a tango. And there's no affectation from force, from explosions. There's a much more yielding, absorbent quality to him. So I think it's a much fuller personification of the center axis relock that was established in Conviction.
Favorite weapon?
That Sam uses?
Most versatile one.
Sam's mind. Because Sam is, in this game, exceeding labels. He is exceeding stylistic conformity, aesthetic considerations. He is a myriad-minded Zen state warrior. He's able to do anything. He's one step ahead. He's dispatching one person, shooting the second, seeing the third, and aware of the fourth. He's moving always in a sort of very conscious, mindful manner. He's navigating his environment. We have incredible uses of improvised weapons. We have incredible manipulations of his environment. We have organic integration of body shielding in Mark and Execute, where he can use the opponent and mark and execute while holding somebody or dispatch that individual. The sheer variety of tactics that are available, the three playing styles, incredible. So it's absolutely Sam's mind.